Alright, what's going on? I'm back with another replay. Playing as the Tomb Kings again, and I matched up against a Skaven on Grove of Slaughter. So when I was building for this match, my starting strategy was going to be to go with this squad that I've got here. I'll describe it more once the match starts. And basically sit on point 2 with no range units because of the woods and the decreased missile efficiency in this heavily wooded area. So we've got 3 squads of skeleton warriors. These are the guys with swords, not spears. 3 squads of Nahakar warriors, 2 squads of Ushabti. We've got 2 tomb princes, and I've got Settra the Imperishable. And what I was thinking was that I'll have 2 tomb princes and Settra, all who are anti-large, and they'll deal with any big monsters or anything like that. And the rest of my sword infantry and whatnot, and the Nahakar and the skeletons will deal with the little Skaven infantry. Now for my opponent, he has got quite a spread of units. So he's got Night Runners with slings on both flanks, it appears. Yep. He's got Warplock Jezzails, the Regiments of Renown, on his left side. He's got a lot of artillery. He's got Plague Claw Catapult. He's got Death Globe Mortars, Regiments of Renown there. And Clan Rats with Shields and Clan Rats with Spears on his front line. He does have a Regiments of Renown, Clan Rats with Shields. The Tail Slashers, looks like they've got some fire damage and resistance to fire. And then for his lord, he's got Ikit Claw. And I didn't realize when I first started this match that this guy is on like a fucking motorcycle-like thing. I don't even know how to describe it, but pretty neat. Get back to more of my perspective. So, like I was saying, when I started this matchup, what I was looking to do was get a lot of infantry and some Ushabti to support my lord and heroes, and to kind of dominate the middle area. I figured the woods would take away from some of the shooting efficiency that the Skaven oftentimes bring, so I figured I'd start there and then get some more shielded and ranged units dealing with point 1 later in the match. So you can see I'm progressing here. He's going to start shooting in with his Plague Claw Catapults, not doing too much damage. Now I brought 2 squads of Nahakar horsemen, and what I figured was I'd use them to get on top of point 1 because the timer was starting to go down. Just going to speed up a little bit more. You can see as I'm charging in here to get on top of point 2, my opponent comes up with some wolf rats. I did not see anything in here. I didn't even notice that he was shooting at me at this point. Pulled back here to get a full surround on the wolf rats, and then we'll crash down on them. They took a lot of damage, but I'm also taking pretty good damage on my Nahakar horsemen because they're somewhat lightly armored, facing the opposite way they're shooting, and they've got 2 squads of slingers and these Warplock Jezzails, all of which are going to deal decent damage against my troops. Limited effectiveness from the artillery units, and basically just sitting here on the point, microing, waiting to see if he's going to come in on point 2 and just hold a defensive position. He's got a squad of Night Runners with slings off on point 3, capturing that. Taking a little bit of a lead on the gold value as I'm getting this charge off on top of some range units. These guys don't really want to be in melee if they can help it. The Nahakar horsemen are anti-infantry, although I don't think they have a stat. This is one thing that I'm still not quite sure of. Sometimes there are units that I see listed as anti-infantry, but they don't have the stat where it's actually buffing their weapon strength. So I'm not quite sure how that works. I've seen that on other units where it says anti-infantry, but there is no stat that gives them a bonus versus infantry. Moving forward, getting a little bit more of a forward position, I'm figuring that there's going to be a big engagement over here, and I'm going to have to move some of my troops out of the central point to deal with that. And as I move forward, my opponent starts doing the same. So he's got artillery shooting in, kind of coming over this ridge, and my horseman just got done away with over there. He came with a lot of reinforcements. He brought Ikit Claw in support, which I did not expect, and still just shooting mortars. And so at this point, I'm figuring, well, you know what? I might as well charge. His lord is over there. He doesn't have very good quality infantry, and I want to get on top of his artillery. Now he's taking 0.1 and he has 0.3, so he's going to start to get his way into the victory points competition. Now as that's going on, I'm charging with my Tomb Princes to support my Skeleton Warriors, going after these little Skaven infantry. Skeleton Warriors supported by Nakar Warriors and Ushabti coming into this side. They've got a chieftain over here that I'm going to jump on top of with my Tomb Princes and with Settra. Again, Settra is on foot, and they flank with some wolf rats, doing some decent damage to my Skeleton Warriors. I've got more Nakar Warriors coming in support. Tomb Guard coming over on this side. Now again, you'll see my makeup of my reinforcements is somewhat more built for the open area. So the Tomb Guard have their little bit more armor, and they've got their shields, and then I brought Skeleton Archers. So I got 2 squads of them coming in. Skeleton Archers about to get shot by Ikit Claw there. Took a pretty good amount of damage. Sepulchral Stalkers coming over this way. And Ikit Claw is going to be dealing with these Nakar Warriors. He's going to do pretty well against them. He's got that anti-infantry stat. He also has very high armor. You can see the Nakar Warriors, although they are anti-infantry, not that that's helping against him because he is large, but even with their decent weapon strength, they don't have much armor piercing. So the good thing is I've pushed through the rat blob on these flanks of 0.2, and I'm now going towards their catapults and whatnot, their artillery pieces. So we've got Skeleton Warriors charging over here towards the Plague Claw catapult and the Avalanche Mortars. We've got our little goon squad of Tomb Princes and Settra going after the Chieftain, dropping his armor down with the Weeping Blade. You can see armor minus 30, physical resistance minus 20, so he's going to take big damage against this squad. W Shopti going after the Warplock Jezzails and the Warp Lightning Cannons. This thing is pretty powerful, you can see from the missile strength. Bonus first large, armor piercing and whatnot. The Nakar Warriors over here matched up against Clan Rats. Still not doing anything against 0.3. He's got that pretty secure in the sense that I don't have any troops on that side of the field or moving towards that side of the field, so he can leave that pretty much open and not worry about it too much. I'm only slightly ahead in the gold value, starting to catch up in the victory points now that I've captured 0.1. 0.2 still is in my hands, and excuse me, I just captured 0.1. It was looking like I already had it. Sepulchral Stalkers chasing these Night Runners with slings off the field. Not an ideal engagement for them. Really want to be getting these guys on top of some kind of large unit. And he's charging some Wolf Rats in. I'm going to flank them with the Nakar Horsemen and get a rear charge to support these guys. Ikit Claws over here on the side, working towards 0.1, supporting against these infantry that I've got over here. The Nakar Warriors are pretty beat up. Tomb Guard are pretty beat up. Another squad of Tomb Guard just getting shot by his area of effect. Took pretty good damage there. Although they were kind of split up from the combat, so luckily they didn't soak up as much as they would have if they were in a solid formation. And my Ushabti summon that I had brought down over here, I think got wiped out. I know I dropped one on top of these artillery pieces if you didn't see it. Skeleton Warriors are still doing decent, but they're going to be breaking eventually. The Nakar Warriors over here are not doing too great. I believe they're crumbling from being away from the rest of the army. See a squad of Night Runners with slings coming in here to try to capture 0.2. They were the squad that was over at 0.3 earlier. Saw them coming with the Nakar Warriors that I had sitting in the woods, and went and countered them. They're going to deal well against them because they're lightly armored infantry. So that's definitely the kind of matchup that you want Nakar Warriors in. Now, on the downside, Ikit Claw is headed my way. My Tomb Princes are getting dealt with pretty well by him and by the shooting that they've got. And you can see Settra is taking a lot of damage, and that's why I sent him around this way. I was trying to get him at an angle so that this little cliff here would protect him from the shooting that was coming in. So you can kind of see, when you get like a better look at this kind of stuff, line of sight and whatnot, when you get lower to the ground at times. But either way, I'm not sure what spell it is coming down. I'm really not familiar with these Skaven spells at all. I don't want to look at them and try to learn them right now while I'm trying to narrate this. But very close in the value trading, very close in the victory tickets, or victory points as I've been calling them. And at this point, I pushed him off at point 1, got a squad of Tomb Guard and Nahakar Horsemen over here in the woods so that when he sends reinforcements, I can see them coming as opposed to them catching me off guard and pouring right out if I sit everyone back here. You can see I'm moving these troops onto the back side of this hill. So if he has shooting that comes in, you know, normally I might, probably earlier when I was playing multiplayer, I might have deployed these guys over here and had them sitting on this side. But because of the shooting that the Skaven oftentimes bring, and also vision and how that affects what kind of information you have on troops on the field, I'm putting them on the back side of the hill, archers behind the Tomb Guard, and then Nahakar warriors who are unshielded in the woods. So that if the shooting does see my troops, at least they're gonna probably prioritize these 2 squads and not these maybe more valuable Nahakar warriors who are less resistant to missiles. Now over here, bringing in some reinforcements, skeleton warriors and whatnot coming in. Let's see what else we got. Kepler Guard coming out on the field. Good anti-infantry troops, good armor. They got magic attack, you can see. My Tomb Guards and Settra have been working to push off Ikit, and really at this point I'm just trying to protect Settra. You know, although he's got good armor piercing and anti-large to deal with Ikit, I don't want him to get charged while he's by himself, and so I'm sitting him in the back. I don't want him to get shot out by any of their you know, slingers or anything like that. Although he has decent armor, he doesn't have a shield, and I'm not familiar enough with the Skaven roster to confidently move him around with all the different, you know, shooting type units that they have. Mortars still firing from the back end, coming down on these Nahakar horsemen. I'm backing up my Tomb Princes. You see he's dropping some, what was that, Flensing Ruins, so damage and armor reduction on them. Nahakar warriors, pretty beat up, but still doing well on leadership and whatnot. My Sepulchral Stalkers got caught out because I wasn't paying good attention to them by these Clannites with spears. Not a trade you want to be taking with Sepulchral Stalkers. At this point in the matchup, I realized that these are the units that I want to be using to deal with Ikit Claw. So I wanted to save them while I noticed what was going on, exchange them for some Tomb Guard who are going to do better in this melee combat, send in some Ushabti to support, and then get the Sepulchral Stalkers back with Settra so that if they get anything big that's going to be coming towards him, they can support. Tomb Guards going back towards Ikit Claw, trying to catch him out. Again, he's jumping on top of the Nahakar warriors, but it looks like he saw me coming here and is backing off. Now, one thing that I didn't mention earlier is that when I brought these 2 Tomb Guard, only one of them has the area of effect ability. I forget what it's called. Guardian. So I don't know if Guardian stacks, and because I'm not confident in that, I only brought it on one of these guys so that if they're both around Settra, wherever he is, over here, if they're both around Settra, I'm not losing the value of having Guardian, you know, on both of these guys, because all these little abilities and whatnot cost money. And so if you unequip those things from your lords and your heroes, you know, bring more bare bones spell builds and whatnot, you can save yourself some money that you can use to get better quality troops or to upgrade troops or get other abilities on other units. So just a quick note there. Now Ikit Claw coming back in, charging in at my Tomb Princes. At this point, moving Settra back behind us again because I saw the shooting coming in, and I got the Tomb Princes. I forget what the ability is. Sepulchral Stalkers, the great thing about them is that they have the, They have the stalk ability. So he probably didn't see these guys back here. Now they're starting to get shots in on him in support of the Tomb Princes. Now, one thing that I was looking to do with the Tomb Princes is try to catch out Ikit Claw and use, where is the ability? Not Tomb Strike. This one, Curse of Joff. So you can use that and basically make enemies rampage. And so I was looking to get to a point where I could get him, you know, charged in and engage with my Tomb Princes and potentially Settra, and then pop that so that he rampages and he gets stuck in the combat, because I noticed he was using his lord decently well. Anytime that he was getting into an unfavorable trade, he would charge out and take advantage of his speed. You see he's got 72 speed on this little motorcycle kind of thing he's on. So I was trying to prevent him from using the speed to his advantage and pop that. It's hard for me while I'm narrating everything else to catch the moments that that's happening, but I know I got that off on him probably once or twice. Mortar's still shooting in, Sepulchral Stalkers screening him off from Settra. Again, you can see I'm very intentionally keeping Settra behind this big column so that any of the shooting coming from all these angles is not going to be able to hit him. And if he wants to get a charge off, he's going to have to come around here and potentially lose momentum or speed. So again, Sepulchral Stalkers doing their job, screening him off. He probably charged in here and forgot that these guys were here because they have that stalk ability. So in the woods and with the stalk ability, you don't notice these guys until you're very close to them. So while you're watching a replay, it's sometimes not as noticeable how some of those plays can make an effect on things. But when you're in the match and you don't see the units, you'll do stuff that makes you look silly on a replay because you're running straight into some troops that are not, that are like a hard counter basically. And that's something that happens to me a lot. I've gotten surprised by, stalking units, especially from Skaven at times, like the Night Runners that have snuck up on my artillery pieces or things like that. And when you see it on a replay, it seems obvious what was going on, but during the match, hard to tell. So you can see, I'm just going to fast forward to this point. I'm going to win on points. Of course, I guess he gave up right there. But I had been bringing in reinforcements, just solidifying my position out here. And had a couple more troops coming in to reinforce in the middle, so my opponent saw what was going on. I figured he realized that the victory points were close enough to the end that it was game over. So good play to my opponent. Pretty good match overall, very close on victory points, pretty good value trading between the two of us. Take a quick look at the value here. So not too much damage on Settra. Tomb Princes didn't even do that much, honestly. But they did help protect him. I'm sure they were a deterrent for him charging in with Ikit Claw. Ushabti, this squad did an immense amount of work. I want to see these guys cost 900, so this squad didn't do great. Not great damage on the Nehekara Warriors, not great damage on the Skeleton Warriors, although this squad did good. These guys probably got on top of one of the artillery pieces, I would imagine. And let's see, what else? Sepulchral Stalkers did not great. Kepler Guard didn't do great. Tomb Guard did alright. These Nehekar Horsemen did a pretty good amount of work. And the Archers, I only got one squad of them on the field. At least one squad engaged on the field. So honestly, none of my units really did that amazing. I guess the best ones were really these Ushabti who pulled a lot of load. But let's see. Look at that. That's an immense amount of damage on Ikit Claw. So like I said, my opponent was really using him very effectively. Avalanche Mortars did decent. Warplock Jezzails did alright. They probably cost a good bit more than that. Some of these artillery did not do great because I got on top of them early in the match. Again, he had a lot of resources on the right side on, I want to say, point 1. And because of that, I was able to rush through his clan rats and get on top of those artillery pieces. So, a lot of damage on the Ikit Zap Zap cannon. Now I think a lot of this damage is part of why my Tomb Princes and Settra did so bad, because I'm quite confident that this was shooting them very consistently throughout the matchup. Warplock Jezzails didn't really get much done. Wolf Rats didn't do too much. That's a lot of damage for Clan Rats with spears. So, yeah, really the star performance for me was the Ushabti, and for him was definitely Ikit Claw. So, good use of him for my opponent. Well played. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.